ultimate goal is that we want to GoFundMe for $30,000 to assist with our operational costs. We haven't had any stimulus support from the government. With our loss of foot traffic, right? I mean, the community itself is on shutdown. So you have people that come out periodically, and then the high school is closed. So we have that traffic that's no longer in existence. So that impacts our revenue stream, which in turn impacts our ability to get ready for, all our operational needs. So we want to make sure that we're in a position to move forward, because it can't tie to the giveaways and the work that we're doing in the community, because that's a whole separate track. I mean, it does impact our business because at least we have that flow of activity, and that's very beneficial. And then we do have, some funds that allow us to take care of some of the necessities. That whole purpose is literally to make sure that groceries can get out to seniors and those in need. We didn't get the PPP. We haven't been approved for that. We didn't get the EIDL, so we haven't been approved for that. So all those dollars are supposed to be able to stimulate the small business. We haven't received. I've been open since 10, and I probably have 4 people. That's a good example of what the impact is. You know what I mean, Nina? We were driving home from visiting family, and we saw the for rent sign on the building for the store itself, right? It was unoccupied. And we knew that the story behind Church and Dodge was not the story that we thought was best told. We knew that it was not, services were not being provided to this area from a produce standpoint, from a frozen good. It was what have been the community like a
food
what's
desert.
that?
A food
desk. Exactly. So we knew that existed, and we felt that there needed to be a stronger positive presence in the Black community. And now this is not just the Black community at large. Church and Dodge is much more diverse than that. And so I think we got in during some of the transition period, but now our customer base spreads the gamut. We have people coming in the store that probably would have never even came in the store before, and that's whether you're Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Caucasian, or whatever. So now we're getting foot traffic from all those different sources because there's a comfort, but there's also a need, and that's what we do. That's what we provide.
When did you see the for rent sign, and when did you open?
The for rent sign we saw. I would say it would have been in January of 2014, and we had a soft open in August. So it took, 8 months to go from end to end to become operational. We had to rebuild out. We had to take the facility itself and clean it up and make it where it was enterable, because, it wasn't a place where I would think a person would come back twice. This place was buying and reselling items from stolen goods from the school as a source. And I think it was feeding into problems in the community. I think it was a source of what a big problem was here. And after the store was raided, and literally ownership was told they could not continue doing business. And literally it was fair game for anybody to come in, make an agreement with the landlord and set up shop. The key was that it needed to remain a convenience store because it already had an 8-bay cooler. And, that's a great situation to walk into. And it wasn't part of what our background is, right? It was just literally just the fact that we felt we needed to do something different because we were at a point where you can talk about giving back in the community, but literally we were put in a position where we needed to do more, and that's what made us buy the store. It's literally been supporting not just the Black community, which I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of that because we have kids, from all races come in the store, and literally we talk with them about where they are in school, how they're doing. Of course we're selling the product, and we have to keep that that chain moving, because we may have somebody in line. But I think we've been able to motivate kids in a lot of good ways. Literally, somebody asked me one day, how many people do you let in the store at one time? And I say all of them. We don't try to put them in a position where they feel that they're in prison. Even if you say, hey, I can only let 5 in at a time, well, those 10 other people standing outside is thinking, okay, I'm not really being appreciated. From a Black perspective, I think it's always good when Black families and Black youth see Black business owners. I think it's able to show them that they can do it as well. And I think our stories, behind ownership and behind who we are. I mean, literally, we raise our family here, so they don't know my wife and I. They know our kids. Everybody knows everybody, or either they know you or they're related to you. And so there's nothing you can do and hide in Evanston. But at the same time, if you do something positive, that's going to be viewed exponentially as well. And that's what we're trying to do here. We're not just trying to sell a product, but we're also trying to impact lives. And I don't think we've seen that as much as we do now. I think we've seen it in the past, but when you see families that are impacted by this virus and there's needs that we can address because of what we provide as a business, you feel the impact immediately, because people tell you how appreciative they are about. I was born and raised on the south side of Chicago in Inglewood, and my wife was born in Mississippi. And we met at Washington National Insurance here in Evanston. And that's where we met, and that's where we decided to make it our home.
What do you each do aside from C&W?
Well, I'm an IT professional. I've been in IT for 41 years. I started off at the very beginning as a developer all the way up to middle management. And Wendy, she's a advocate at Northwestern. She's a student advocate, patient advocate. She works on behalf of their needs as far as their insurance needs, helping them get through the process.
I'm interested to know how your faith informs your actions.
This is faith in action. We talk about doing work for those in need and for members in the community, that the store allows us to give us a platform to be able to take everything that we believe in our Christian walk, that we can help others. And we don't have to help people that believe in the same thing we do. We have to help anyone that's in need. This is our work. This is what we preach, and this is what preachers preach every Sunday. That, hey, if I have a belief and I'm keeping it to myself, or Wendy's keeping it to herself, then what does it matter? And if we stop doing what we're doing, if you look at this little store that's right on the corner of the 2nd and the 5th Ward, I mean, where would they go, right? Where would they go for grocery items? Where would they go to meet this need? As you mentioned, it's a food desert, right? So, from Alderman Holmes to Alderman Simmons to Alderman Braithwaite, as a city, it had been stated that this was a need that had to be addressed. It's not just a snack shop. If you need milk and eggs, bacon, that's here. If you need frozen goods, with your chicken, your pork chops, what have you, your mixed vegetables, your frozen goods, we've been able to make our connections with produce and be able to deliver fresh produce, as needed. One thing that I think we need to be clear is that we can't get comfortable in this pandemic because we've been 9 weeks into it. We need to stay just as tight, just as sharp. We need to keep our masks, situated and nearby. If a customer comes in, I have to mask up right away. And we've had to change our game just like everybody else, especially all essential businesses. Yeah. And the ones that are coming up in the phase 3, I mean, it's not going to be business as usual. So, that's why the demand and the need for support is there, because we're not operating under the same conditions that we were starting, and we're not on equal footing. So we need to maximize our windows of space and opportunity with the community. I grew up in Inglewood, which, interesting enough, that's not far away from Cicero, and literally growing up on Loomis, there were times where you couldn't even go to Ashland as we were growing up. Did we experience racism? Absolutely. Evergreen Plaza was a main location for us to go to as graduates and youth in the community. So we would all get on buses and go, but there would be times where on our way back, we would be met with resistance. Where I grew up and the family I grew up with, my parents were very, very strong. They put us in positions and never made us feel that we were less than anybody. My life, and I believe the life of my entire family, has given us a platform to do more. And despite, what may be out there, it's ironic when you talk about role models. I didn't have to leave my home to have a role model. I didn't have to have conversations with different people. I think that's an advantage that I had. But I'm very proud of the fact that I had a very strong father and still have a very strong mother, and a very strong base of uncles that were surrounding my family on a regular basis. So while we met resistance and issues head on, we were not immune to them, and we were not afraid of them. Just because you're advancing, socially or economically, you're still one step away from a potential issue. So, we still have to deal with that today, and the current administration is not making that any better. I'm not trying to be political, but you can't be. You cannot leave politics out of life right now. From an Inglewood perspective, there's some great people in Inglewood, and what the newspapers and what the highlights are, there's not enough highlights about the good things that occur as well. And we need more of that. We need more of that on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
The convenience store favorite, at least at this location, was nachos with meat and cheese. So the youth just love, Doritos or regular chips with meat and cheese, and that's one of the store favorites. So we provide that. One of the football players came in one day and said, "Hey, I'm finishing practice. I need something else." So we added a deli counter, and it's interesting when he asked for the deli counter. There used to be a guy in Evanston, I believe on Emerson, that made a sandwich. His name was Jack Moss, and so we had to actually meet that need of providing that sandwich. But we also had to compete with the history of a gentleman named Jack Moss that made probably some of the best sandwiches that everybody in the community knew about. And so, that youth forced us to add another section to the store. We've been impacted because we've had to have 5 resources just stay home. Now, keep in mind with the social distancing and, the stay-at-home order, they were not going to come in anyway. And that's why you see me. And actually, that's been a good move because I don't think anybody can represent your business better than you. Nina, right away, we have all the signs on our door about, no mask, no entry. We have all the appropriate information letting them know that, you need to have a mask on. And before they leave out, we kind of, give them a hand sanitizer, and we kind of, keep our space clean as well. I don't wish people to have to know directly in order to make adjustments. I lost a relative. I've had 2-3 other relatives that had the virus and have recovered.
Really?
One that passed away, and that's devastating. These are individuals that one in particular, my cousin is probably the strongest guy I know. He was, he's 5 years older than me, and he was pretty much my bodyguard. He was taking me places and showing me things, and I would have never thought that it would happen to him. I have debate with people that come in every day. Some people have their mask on, and then if they come on trying to cover their face, I'm saying that's not enough. If you don't have a mask, you need to turn right back around. And yes, I may lose business, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to lose my life, nor do I want to see you lose yours. I'm not the only person that's impacted by this, but by all means, it's not something that's nice.
No. Oh, that's